Ted Ginn Jr. goes in motion. They flip it to the near side. Kamara trying to turn the corner, forcing the boundary, and he's going to score!
That's the running Saints getting their 5th straight win, a 2012 victory over the Chicago Bears. The voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson, joins us with his take this morning as Black and Gold Rewind. Jim, I know it's cliche, but they say that good teams find a way to win.
That's right, John. Not every week do you have to score 50 points and throw it all over the lot. Saints have been proving that. I mean, if you could have told me before the game that Mitch Trubisky was going to have to throw more passes than Drew Brees in this game, I think you'd have had to predict the Saints win, because that's not Bears football. But defensively, they're very stout. You probably anticipated a low-scoring game, and this is the way the Bears win. But now the Saints, with their encouraging defense, they have other ways to win now, not just with Drew Brees.
You know, you're up against a rookie quarterback, a promising quarterback, but not somebody with experience. You'd expect to have more success defensively than maybe the average game, but I mean, the defense was stout.
Yeah, it was, and Marshawn Lattimore, I don't think there's a cornerback in the NFL playing any better than that rookie. He came through with the big interception that clinched the game. I thought Kenny Vaccaro had a really good game as well. The Saints secondary has just improved so much. They're around the football so much more. They're getting their hands on the football. They're intercepting the football, and they were able to overcome Mark Ingram's 2 fumbles. This is the 2nd week in a row the Saints have lost the turnover differential and won the game.
Although I heard you both yelling in the booth, get down on the interception at the end.
That was Deuce. I mean, and he's right. The game was truly over. What you didn't want is somebody from the Bears coming up behind Lattimore and punching the ball out and giving them another opportunity. So, yeah, that was Deuce talking as a player, and probably the people on the Saints bench were saying the same thing right in front of Lattimore.
What is your biggest concern about this team right now?
I can't say I really have any. I mean, they got through yesterday's game injury-free, so they're as healthy probably as they've been all season. They don't have to totally rely on Drew Brees. I can't tell you that I do have a great concern about this team. They can probably tighten some things up in the running game. They gave up a couple of big runs yesterday, 50 to Howard and 46 to Trubisky. But other than that, I don't think there is a great concern about this team right now, but every week gives you a new challenge, and this week it's Tampa Bay. The Saints have won 5 in a row. Tampa Bay has lost 4 in a row. They lost yesterday scoring 3 points, first time in the Jameis Winston era that they have not scored a touchdown. They're missing both their cornerbacks, and they only have 7 sacks. That's worst in the NFL, so might be a good time to catch these guys too.
Well, and of course, divisional games are always important when you get to the playoff tiebreakers. It's nice to be talking about the playoffs again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you hate to get too far ahead of yourself, but every time it seems like there's a reference to something good happening for the Saints, it kind of says since 2009. Like, I think one of the stats yesterday said the Saints have not won without Drew Brees scoring a touchdown pass since 2009 against the Jets, and of course we all know how 2009 ended.
I thought the same thing. All right, thanks when I heard that. Thanks, Jim Henderson, always. You can catch Jim's thoughts on the Saints today, his commentary at 5 o'clock, and then the Black and Gold Review Show kicks off at 10:35 tonight. Make sure to get your questions in using the Final Word feature of the Final Play app.
Once benched, Kenny Vaccaro is now being praised after yesterday's performance.
Here's Sean Fazan with more on what Coach Sean Payton is saying about the Saints' safety today.
Well, nothing like a little motivation to light a fire under a player. Since that benching, Kenny Vaccaro has been on an absolute tear. And the former first-round pick's best game may have been Sunday against Chicago. Vaccaro was everywhere. He played every single defensive snap and displayed incredible versatility. He finished with 9 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a half sack, and 1 PBU. He now officially leads the team in tackles, pass breakups, and interceptions. His efforts Sunday earned him some praise from the man who sent him to the bench just 6 weeks ago.
Thought he was very, very good. Got a game ball. Probably one of his better games. Extremely active. Had a lot of production.
We'll have much more on Vaccaro's impressive day on the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review Show tonight at 10:30. Meanwhile, later in sports, it's Bama week. Chris Hagan takes a look at how the Tigers are prepping for their trip to Tuscaloosa. Lee?
All right, Sean, the Saints' tribute to the late Fats Domino gets the attention of Fox 8 Saints analyst Jim Henderson. He'll join us with his commentary later in the newscast. Chicago Bears tight end Zach Miller is recovering tonight at the University Medical Center after he underwent emergency knee surgery following a collision with Saints safety Raphael Bush. Miller hurt himself while trying to catch the ball in the end zone during yesterday's game. The Chicago Bears tweeted Miller was taken to UMC where he had surgery to repair a torn artery in his knee. The team says Miller is good and recovering at UMC. Bush, who landed on Miller's knee when he attempted to intercept the ball, says he hates to see any opponent injured. Doctors say Miller will stay at UMC for further evaluation.
You know, I saw a lot yesterday that I liked about the game, and I saw some other things away from the game that I liked just as much. This is a Monday unlike any other Monday in New Orleans in 89 years. It's the first Monday we are without Fats Domino, who died 1 week ago tomorrow. And so I thought the Saints' tribute to him yesterday was so spot on. From his hits that sold over 65 million records playing in and around the game, to the Fats stickers affixed to the Saints helmets, to Sean Payton's post-game remarks about him and his legacy. Spot on. How nice it was to hear lyrics played over the PA system you could actually understand. How appropriate to honor a man who was uniquely one of our own. How interesting to listen to Professor Payton's history lesson. The Vikings might have Case Keenum at quarterback. For a day, we had Casey Kasem as our coach. American Top 40 couldn't have done it better. Mondays inspired some of Fats' hits with which Saints fans can identify. Blue Monday after a loss. Fell in love on Monday after a win. Payton was right that Fats' shyness and humility probably caused him never to get the recognition he deserved in life. But his contribution to rock and roll should never be forgotten, certainly not here. And so, wouldn't it be appropriate to end every Saints game in the Dome the rest of this season with one of his hits? Maybe Whole Lotta Lovin' in victory. Ain't that a shame after a rare defeat? It would remind everyone to stick around to the final second, because the game isn't over till the Fat Man sings. I thought it was really nice yesterday.
That is nice, huh?
Very nice. And now it's Tampa Bay coming into town, a team that has lost 4 straight, only scored 3 points yesterday against Carolina, a team that only has 7 sacks defensively, lowest in the NFL, and I'll be getting into more as the week ahead comes to us.
Feeling better. I mean, after we talked about this after the first 2 games, you're like, this could never happen. And
nobody saw
Nobody
this
thought
coming.
we'd be
right?
5 in a row.
I'd given up.
You okay.
You admit it.
Yes.
I mean, this defense was on track to be the worst in Saints history through 2 games, and that's saying a lot. To me, that's the big story of this team, what the defense has done in the 5-game winning streak.
Very nice.
All
More
right.
coming from
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
Jim returns tonight to answer your questions about the Saints. You'll get answers during his Black and Gold review that airs right after our late news. You can submit a question to Jim through our Final Play app.
Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Review is sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough. And 2017 Nissan Titan, with America's best bumper-to-bumper limited truck warranty, Nissan Titan. Take on any job. And Slidell Memorial Hospital, in partnership with Oshner.
They'll go for it on 4th and 1 with Trubisky dropping, looking, stepping up, being forced now and throwing wide and incomplete. Trubisky, who drops, looks, guns it downfield, and it's intercepted. The Saints have picked it off. Coming back to the 35. Get down, Lattimore. He doesn't go down easily, but he does go down now.
All of a sudden, this team can't lose. Knock on wood. Welcome in. With the voice, Jim Henderson, I'm Juan Kincaid. And Jim, the best thing about this team right now is they can win in so many different ways.
Well, you look at it, Juan, this is the first time in the history of the Superdome when the Saints have played there that they have won losing the turnover differential, which they have now for 2 straight weeks, and not throwing a touchdown pass. So evidence that this team really can beat you in a lot of ways.
A little bit different than what we're used to. Let's get to the headlines right now. Headline number 1. And boy, this has been important for all 5 of these wins. Payton's motivation.
Yeah, it's like he's gotten his mojo back. I really think he's taking the temperature of this team really successfully. Thought the whole idea of the salute to Fats Domino yesterday was inspired. I thought some of the things he did motivationally to maybe take a little bit of John Fox's information about, well, they've only played cupcake defenses, or they might play a cupcake defense in the Saints. He really didn't say that, but he kind of inferred it after playing some tough teams with Trubisky, the raps really being on him. So all those things have really motivated this team, and I really think he's got their temperature.
It's interesting you mentioned the cupcake comment. This is what was actually said in an article last Wednesday. John Fox defended Trubisky and the play of his offense by noting his starts against the Panthers, Ravens, and Vikings required rookie to navigate defenses that aren't cupcakes. But guess what? The next opponent is a cupcake. And that's from Steve Rosenblum from the Chicago Tribune. So the question is he talking about, is John Fox saying this? Is the article being saying this?
This is a guy looking for a headline and trying to pump up the Bears, who are coming in on a 2-game winning streak. I don't think John Fox would consciously give you bulletin board material, especially against Sean Payton. You know, they're good friends. They were coordinators on the Cowboys staff together. I think this is the Tribune's writer trying to embellish all this.
No matter who said it, some guys after the game had something to say about it at the beginning with Sean Payton.
We're going to have to clean up some of those mistakes and some of the things that they're going to hurt us when we play a better team.
I think we know who the cupcake was. If there was a cupcake reference sometime this week, I'm pretty sure we're going to call the Chicago Bears sprinkles.
Credit our guys for doing enough to get the win. We're going to have to do more, like I said, when we play better teams.
I like sprinkles, but this was obviously something on the bulletin board.
Yeah, and there was a little edge to this game. You know, the Bears are a physical team. It was going to be a down and dirty, nasty game. Some hostilities broke out toward the end of the game after the Lattimore interception. So there was an edge to this game, and I think it's a good battle. You know, the Saints have lost some tough games to the Bears down through the years.
They have some nasty ones, including the playoff game back in 2006. All right, headline number 2, and this is important. Good luck follows good teams. I think one wise man said that yesterday, Sean Fazan, I believe.
And there's none wiser than Sean Fazan.
I can't argue with you there.
And he's right, because, you know, look at the luck the Saints had yesterday, the way the replays went in their favor, and some of them weren't really, I thought, very clarified. And then you got the Will Lutz field goal, eventually, that he bangs in off the left upright. So a lot of things went in the Saints' favor yesterday, including the injury factor. They continue to have good health, good luck, and certainly the Bears didn't yesterday.
No doubt. And one guy that understands all too well, like many of us do, how this team has been on the wrong side of luck far too often is quarterback Drew Brees.
We've been on the flip side of these too many times. So, you know, maybe it's coming around to benefit us a little bit. I mean, listen, I don't know if you want to call this breaks. I mean, we turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter today to give him a chance to come back in. You know, I wouldn't call that a break. You know, there's always a couple plays in the game that can turn the tide, momentum, or what have you. And I think we did have a couple of favorable challenges, which was good. But like I said, I think those all even out in the end. And we're definitely, I think we're still behind in the numbers that have gone against us. So we need some more of these to catch up, to even it out in our favor.
Now, he did keep pointing out that they still haven't played their best football yet, but because they haven't, they found other ways to win games. And luck is part of it.
Good team playing at home as a favorite sometimes does get breaks like that.
Let's get you to headline number 3. Mark Ingram errors.
I suck. That's the bottom line. I suck. I suck. But I was whack. I suck. That was terrible. That was sucky on my part. The bottom line is I suck at the end of the game. The game was only close because I suck. He didn't have no message. I suck. That was his message. I suck.
If you weren't quite sure on how Mark Ingram felt about his performance, he beep.
Yeah.
But he struggled, and it's not what we're used to seeing from him.
No, and he faced the music, as you could see. He said that, I guess, close to 18 times in the course of the interviews he conducted in the locker room. But he faced the music. He stood there and took it. He took all the blame on his shoulders, which I think is a very good sign. Remember last year, he got benched after a critical fumble against Kansas City. Yes. Next week, barely played against Seattle. Then the week after that, he rushed for 158 yards playing the San Francisco 49ers. So he'll take it to heart. He'll protect the football better. He only had one fumble coming into this game, the only fumble, really, that the Saints had lost.
Headline number 4, more and more Marshawn Lattimore. He's been very good, Jim.
Oh, has he been great. This is the closest thing to a shutdown corner the Saints have ever had. He plays with such great maturity. He's up on these receivers so much. Trubisky only targeted him twice yesterday. One pass he deflected incomplete. That one he intercepted to cinch the victory. He's getting more and more acclaim around the league. A lot of people mentioning him as the odds-on favorite halfway through the season, as we are, to be the defensive rookie of the year, and you can make a case for that. He's just been sensational.
And Jim, at one point in time in the draft, they were looking to get a guy as a pass rusher. Boy, I'm glad it worked out this way, because this was the better move for the Saints.
Yeah, and I remember as we led up to the draft, we said the 2 big needs for this team are an edge rusher and a cornerback. They've got to get one first, and maybe the other one they can address down through the draft. And what they did is they stayed true to their board. He was the #1 cornerback. cornerback, whereas other guys like these might have been a reach to select them that high. Remember these guys? These were all the names that we heard before the first round. Derek Barnett out of Tennessee. He's now with Philadelphia. He's got 2.5 sacks. Jonathan Allen with Washington has got 1. DeCaris McKinley with Atlanta's got 2. And Taco Charlton has really been a disappointment in Dallas, can barely get on the field and has no sacks. So the Saints, at least for the moment, certainly appear to have struck it rich in the first round, making the selection they did.
And they're doing well as far as pass rushes as well by having gone into free agency and handled that part there. All right, coming up, Sean Fazan joins us for an in-depth look at the case Kenny Vaccaro is making for the Saints to re-sign him this offseason. And another 2018 free agent, Willie Snead, has barely had a chance to prove his worth. We'll answer your questions about one of the favorites from the last 2 seasons.
You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
Fans into it here. Trubisky standing in the shotgun, calls for the football. He's going to be hit, and he's going to be dropped. Back around the 46-yard line of the Bears as the Saints pour in and get him for this first sack of the day.
All right, welcome back in. Breaking down the headlines to talking tape, and that means we got to bring in Sean Fazan for that. What you got this week?
Man, we got a lot of good stuff. But first of all, 5-2. It's getting harder and harder to stay skeptical about this Saints team. Remember back in week 2 against the Patriots, rumors circulated that Kenny Vaccaro was on the trading block. Then he was benched in that game. Were those rumors true? Were they just purely motivational? Only Sean Payton knows for sure. But what we do know is since that game, Vaccaro has been on a tear. Sunday against the Bears may have been his best effort yet. Head coach Sean Payton called Kenny Vaccaro's effort Sunday very active, which is an accurate description. It began pre-snap, where Vaccaro lined up anywhere. The first play on defense, Vaccaro is down in the box against the Bears' 3 tight end set. The next play, he's over the tight end on the right side against their 2 tight end package. The next play, he's on the opposite side versus the Bears' 2 tight and 2 running back personnel grouping. On the next play, he's once again over the tight end, but between Cam Jordan and A.J. Klein instead of outside of them. He also played the nickel over the Bears' slot receiver in their 3 wide receiver set. Only twice did he line up in the traditional safety role back deep. He also played the hybrid linebacker role. When the Bears used their heavy 2 tight end personnel later in the game, the Saints decided to not use an extra linebacker. Instead, they put Vaccaro in that spot. Vaccaro really shined against the run because he's a sure tackler and rarely loses leverage when getting blocked. One play demonstrated this perfectly. On 2nd and 3, backed up in their own territory, Vaccaro gets low to shed the block of Trey McBride. Once he throws him aside, he tracks down Howard for the tackle for loss. Had he not made that tackle, Howard may have scored. He also has an uncanny knack for running down the backside of a running play. Perfect example on Sunday on the Bears' final first-half drive, Vaccaro chased down Howard for a tackle for loss. In pass coverage, Vaccaro earlier in his career was seen as a liability, but he's improved in this area. Against the Bears, he was effective at defending slot receivers, tight ends, and backs. Here he is guarding McBride on the corner route. Mitch Trubisky went elsewhere. While playing the deep half in a cover 2 zone, Vaccaro recovers on the crossing route to take wide receiver Tanner Gentry out of the play. Later in the quarter, Vaccaro is matched up with tight end Zach Miller and guards the in route effectively. At one point, he had running back responsibility when Trubisky threw a screen to Howard near their own goal line. Vaccaro snuffed it out and chased Howard down. He didn't make the tackle, but clearly affected the outcome of the play. And on a crucial 4th down late in the game, Vaccaro undercut a crossing route by Wright to allow the Saints to take over on downs. All in all, I counted just 2 completions Vaccaro surrendered. One was on a mini post by Kendall Wright. The other was on a hook route on the Bears' lone touchdown drive, where he was simply boxed out by Deion Sims and lost position. That would have been a full day in and of itself, but the Saints also used Vaccaro on a blitz twice. His most successful attempt was his first one, where he didn't reveal until the very last second and got to Trubisky as he was making his final drop. All right, Vaccaro now leads the team in total tackles, pass breakups, and interceptions. Oh, by the way, he's in a contract year. Perfect timing to play his best football. Number 32 was everywhere. And look, one thing I noticed when I watched the film of this guy is the Saints defense, they ask him to do a lot. He guards running backs, slot receivers, tight ends, plays the run, plays the deep half sometimes. So he's asked to do a lot, and he's getting better at doing that, too.
And he's not drawing stupid penalties any longer.
Exactly, as well. He's controlled that aggression. You know, he's not a huge guy, but he plays big, and he's also quick enough to play some quicker players as well.
I remember at the beginning of the year, he said he has not played up to his own Pro Bowl expectations. I'd say right now he's getting some consideration. When you think, Jim?
Yes, in fact, I was going to ask you guys a question.
Go right ahead,
We're
Jim.
about halfway through the season, all right? If the Pro Bowl voting was today, what Saints offensive players would you say are worthy of the Pro Bowl?
Offensive players, Michael Thomas.
And now I'll ask you the other question. What Saints defensive players are worthy of the Pro Bowl?
Lattimore.
Yeah. Jordan.
Cam Jordan. Kenny Vaccaro.
So look at that.
Wow,
This team.
I see what you did there, Jim.
See how tricky that is? This has always been a team we thought of as being offensively minded. Nobody on the defense is any good. Now suddenly all the standout players, at least in that respect, are on defense. Those three guys, I think, would truly be worthy of the Pro Bowl, and certainly two of them ought to make it.
What do they say? It doesn't matter how good the coach is, you got to have the players. And they finally getting some production. A.J. Klein may be on that list, you think?
Maybe,
Borderline.
but I think if he finished the year off on a strong note, maybe lead the team in tackles, I think there'd be a chance. I think what he does not always show up on the stat sheet because he's kind of getting everybody aligned, and he's got a lot of energy, and he's a guy that's not afraid to kind of get in the faces of his players. So I think he's been a great addition as well. Okay, let's get you right to the questions here because it's what this show is partly about. This is submitted on the Final Play app using the Final Word feature. It's a bit more of a statement as opposed to a question. When Delvin Breaux returns, it's just going to be crazy. Young, athletic, physical secondary. That's from Terry on the West Bank.
Well, that was an area that was truly decimated last year. Now you've got more players than you can play, at least at the moment. But the whole question with Delvin Breaux is, can he stay healthy?
Yeah. It's always going to be the thing with him, recovering from those 2 broken fibulas in back-to-back seasons. Obviously had the misdiagnosis earlier in training camp. But I don't think it's impossible for him to beat out King Crawley at some point. It's just not going to be right away. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's active before he actually plays a lot, similar to what's going on with Willie Snead right now. So I think in Delvin Breaux's case, it's just a matter of how quickly he gets acclimated and is he still the same player he once was back in 2015? Because if he is, then I think he's a better player than King Crawley. But if he does not return to that form, then I think Crawley remains the starter.
Speaking of Willie Snead, our second question from Joshua, Gus, and Gentili. What's up with wide receiver Willie Snead? Why hasn't he been on the field?
Well, when he was on the field yesterday, he wasn't targeted one time, has only 1 reception on the season. And as Sean mentioned, kind of in discussing Delvin Breaux today, Sean Payton brought up the fact that he's not quite in football shape yet. You know, he had the suspension, which I think probably got under a lot of people's skin because it really hurt the team as they got off to 0-2. And then when he came back, he had a hamstring problem before he could ever get back on the field, probably because he wasn't in football shape or working out hard enough during the suspension. So, you know, those guys have to do a lot of running, and if that hamstring bothers you at all, you're not going to be very effective.
I think we said this last week. Think Dante Stallworth always had the hamstring lingering problem. It's just one of those things when you talk about a wide receiver, you got to get over, and it's kind of a tricky injury. Some days you feel better than others. I'll say this. Willie Snead, Delvin Breaux, and Kenny Vaccaro are 3 players we've discussed. This block, all 3 are in contract years. Clearly, Kenny Vaccaro was doing well in his. Those other 2 guys, they got to get healthy.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, when we come back, Sean, stick around, of course. Much more with Sean Fazan. We're going to talk about Sean Payton. He's employed pedicures and cupcakes to focus his team the last 2 weeks. We'll take a deeper look at the master motivational tactics we've seen to turn the team around from 0-2 to 5-2. Stay with us.
You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
All right, time now to revisit one of our storylines from earlier this week and earlier in the show. We're talking about the motivational tactics employed by Sean Payton, but overall, it looks like he's really gotten his mojo back.
Didn't let him come apart after that 0-2 start when they looked every bit as bad defensively as they ever have, and that's saying something. He seems to have pushed all the right buttons. As I mentioned earlier, he's got the right temperature of this team. And look, they've been lucky, too. Let's face it. look where they've played some of these quarterbacks this year. I mean, young quarterback in Trubisky who truly isn't ready. Last week, Hundley, another young quarterback who truly isn't ready. You get other guys like the Detroit quarterback who's banged up and can't really play. They're maybe getting another one this week in Winston. Really, the only two quality quarterbacks you could say the Saints have played at the top of their games were Bradford and also Tom Brady, and they both have played great against them. When will they next see a quality quarterback, and can they beat that quarterback?
No doubt about it. It's a great point. I think Payton really did a good job of guarding against here we go again when they started 0-2, because they could have very easily have fallen into that. We all kind of did. I mean, 0-2 for the fourth straight year, and at that point they had lost two real blowouts. They were not in either one of those first two losses. He kept the team together, and credit the team too. I mean, they stayed on message, and they turned it around in Carolina and obviously in London when they played Miami. He's in a groove. I think he's figured out this team maybe a little bit quicker than we thought, and he's in a groove as a play caller right now. He's pushing all the right buttons with the style of game he wants to call offensively. And look, they've shifted a little bit. They've been pretty balanced these last 2 weeks when it comes to run versus pass. He's not afraid to kind of tweak the identity to be maybe more of a running back oriented type team. So I think he's pushing all the right buttons right now. He's in a groove, and it's certainly good to see, because last 3 years he kind of lost that mojo a little bit. Now you kind of starting to see that confident Payton back. The guy that, look, 09-11, had that crazy run through the playoffs and Super Bowl, obviously.
I imagine it helps the fact that you've got all three facets of your game working, as opposed to last year was just the offense. Defense was not great, and special teams was a train wreck. I mean, it helps when you can always lean on all three facets to keep you in a game or win a game for you.
Playing complementary football, and one of the oddities of the schedule, the Bears are the third consecutive opponent the Saints have faced that got their bye after they played the Saints. So you'd have to think you're probably getting some teams that are a little banged up, a little tired, a little looking forward to their time off, and the Saints have caught them at good times.
I can't think of a year where the free agent class and the draft class worked together so well. When you talk about A.J. Klein, Alex Okafor has really played well. The contributions of the rookies as well. So, Juan, it goes back to what you said earlier. Great players make great teams as well. This is a good team with a lot of good players. And the DNA in this locker room is a little different than what it's been the last couple of years, and that's why they're 5-2 right now. You know what? They deserve it. They really do.
Because it could be 2-5.
It could be.
John, thank you very much.
Right.
Once again, nice job as usual. The Buccaneers come to town next week with a banged-up Jameis Winston at quarterback, but each year he has been in the league, Tampa has split their season series with the black and gold. We'll preview this week's matchup coming up next.
You're watching the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.
But Winston looks in his direction and going to throw deep down the near sideline. There's contact. Jarris Byrd has intercepted the football. This is Mark Ingram. Ingram is going to score! Mark Ingram from 14 yards out in the end zone for the second time tonight.
Hondo sound like a hockey announcer. Shoots and scores. That was the last time the Bucs were in the Dome. It was a good day for the Saints. Now they come back to the Dome next Sunday, a place they've lost 4 of the last 5 games, and they are struggling. They've lost 4 in a row.
Struggling big time. You got the #1 team in the division in the Saints coming on a 5-game winning streak. And you've got Tampa Bay, currently the last place team in the NFC South, that's lost 4 games in a row. They only scored 3 points against the Panthers yesterday. First time in Jameis Winston's career as a Buccaneer that his team has not scored at least a touchdown in one form or another. He's still got a bad shoulder for the most part. He's looked indecisive. Took another hit on that shoulder yesterday. There's some talk they might even have to take him from the game because he was ineffectual. So he's banged up. The running game is still okay. But with all the weapons they've got, they're not doing anything offensively. Defensively, which has always been the strength of this team, they only have 7 sacks. And that's lowest in the NFL. And both of their corners were banged up and out of commission yesterday, speaking of their starting corners. So they come in a bruised and battered team, hungry for a win to just stay relevant in the NFC South.
Jim, we talked about the Bears being a trap game. With everything going against the Bucs, how bad they played this year. And you think about it, when this season began, after all the moves they made in the offseason, this was the one team everyone's like, oh, look out for the Bucs. It hasn't materialized, but this is a perfect trap game for the Saints.
Yeah, I think it is too. And it seems like we say that about the Bucs every year. And this is the year they put it together. This team with a lot of talent on it. Always a strong defense. Look at who they've added offensively. This is going to be a really tough team to contend with their big receivers and their big tight end. And they just haven't quite put it together. But I agree. When you got a 5-game winning streak, it's unlikely you're going to win them all the rest of the way. And this is a game that, and the Saints haven't done this so far, but they could take this team lightly, and this could be a trap game for them.
We shall see, and we're going to leave it right there. Until then, for Jim and Sean and everyone here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. Thanks for watching. Our next newscast is at 4:30 in the morning. Get up for it. Have a great night.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Jim Henderson Black and Gold Review.